Hi guys, a very good afternoon, and let us talk about important matters in the nation of Zimbabwe. President Advocate Nelson Chamisa gave a statement regarding the issues of land rights without ownership and title. Then this follows, or this was after the government led by President Mnangagwa was evicting people who they were calling illegal settlers on state land. And it's very important for us to take a look on how George Charamba, President Mnangagwa's spokesperson, responded to this. So remember, when George Charamba is responding, we assume that he is doing so using his portfolio as the spokesman or the spokesperson of the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe. So we need to take a look and view him like that. Even though they are his own views, but these views reflect the character and the behavior of ZANU-PF, because in ZANU-PF, you don't think on your own. There is somebody who think on your behalf. And in this case, these are the people in charge of thinking for the rest of people within ZANU-PF. George Charamba said, "We are being sold an American argument in Abambo Ava. The land belongs to the state of Zimbabwe. The Zimbabwean state includes the people on and using the land. You are trying too hard to find an argument which gives you new sparkle." Let me dig deep into this case. We are having evictions which are happening, and they are saying these people are illegally occupying state land. That is the argument which is there. So, for the people who are illegally occupying state land, why are they being evicted when George Charamba says the Zimbabwean state includes people on and using the land? There's a person who does not have a piece of land, who is now 45, 47, 50 years old, and is being evicted right now from the piece of land which he was using, which he got during the land reform program. That person never had title deeds. That person never had papers for that land. Is now being removed from the piece of land which he has stayed over for 20 years plus. What does that mean? This person has been removed from the state because they are actually disregarding him as a non-citizen. If he was a citizen, then he is not illegal on a state land because he is part of the state. He is part of the state. If the state feels that this person is not legally on this piece of land, or there is other alternative activities which must be done on that land, they must come, assess that person, compensate that person, reallocate that person another piece of land. That is the procedure which must be taken. You cannot say somebody who has lived at a place for more than 24 years, you cannot come and tell us that person is illegal. How did he become illegal? Right now, they are compensating white farmers for improvements which they did illegally during the colonial era. They are paying billions. But because this is a black man, he's not entitled to compensation, even though the circumstances may be similar. This is a man who was driven out of that piece of land years by a white settler. And this man came to reclaim his own piece of land where he was removed illegally. And is now being told that you are illegally settling there. How is he illegally settling there for recovering a stolen property, a stolen land, a stolen piece of land? So you see that President also Chamisa, when he addressed this issue, he addressed this issue with wisdom. He said there is no independence and meaningful land rights without ownership and title. The Communal Lands Act is draconian and colonial. Most Zimbabweans are just occupiers of the land, not its owners. Ownership is more than occupation. This said situation must be addressed immediately. There are two arguments regarding this statement made by President Nelson Chamisa. Argument number one, They are saying if you give title to this land, what it means is people will go and borrow using that title, and they will still use that land to banks or to other people with capital or with money. That argument is not correct. Why? The government can chip in to say, okay, we are giving you title, which will protect you from being displaced from your property. However, this title cannot be used for commercial purposes. That is, we are talking about people in the communal areas. These are ancestral lands. Generations and generations and generations. This is the place of origin, Yedzinza, which cannot be sold. You can introduce title risingagone kutengeseka kana kuti risingagone kuva kuplaced against anything else. If such things happen, there is a backup method inogona kushandiswa kuti okay, this is a plot of land which is 20 hectares and it was placed as a surety for a loan or whatever, and I failed to pay back. The bank would simply come and lease that piece of land to another farmer who will do farming up until the payment is completed. Achibhadhara rentals to the bank up until apedza. Once the land comes back, which means my family will enjoy in the future. Saka, you see that there are so many clauses which can be put onto this kind of title. Because as a nation, you have to create your own title, which is competent according to your own needs and standards. So telling me that I am a holder of a communal land, I'm a title holder, and this is my piece of land, which my children and my children will inherit, it doesn't make me vulnerable, because no one will come and remove me from that place. If there is anybody who is to move me from that place, number one, you have to compensate me my land. Number two, you have to compensate me the developments I have made, and they will have to act on my terms, not on their terms. So President Nelson Chamisa is correct. He's 100% correct. Right now, the problem we are having in Zimbabwe is someone who is holding 10,000 United States dollars right now will say, if I drill a borehole and I build a structure like Mafoko runs, and I start farming on this piece of land, and 5 months later, ZANU-PF comes and evicts me from that piece of land, I would have lost my 10,000 United States dollars. That person will say, okay, let me buy a car. It's better for me to enjoy. Maybe I will put on full cover insurance or comprehensive insurance, such that when I lose it through accident, it will be replaced. That person will see it as a better option than coming to build in the communal lands. That is a fact. Right now, there are a lot of people who are regretting putting their money onto the ground, building a rural home. They've worked so many years in South Africa and other countries, and they've lost everything. These are the issues. Very, very, very important issues. And you see people like Fana Jamanda, they will continue to actually deny this fact. Let us remember that ZANU-PF always argue that the opposition want to return land to whites. The opposition is saying we need to repeal and make sure that we deal with certain laws which are colonial. And the ZANU-PF government is saying they must stay there. So who is anti-people and who is pro-people? This argument by President Nelson Chamisa is clear. He says land belongs to everyone. Dignity is an inalienable right, and every citizen God-given and hereditary entitlement. Land is a gift from God. When God blessed Abraham, he gave him land. When God blessed Abraham, he gave him land. So he says the recent displacements and destruction of property run foul of the law and violate several provisions of the Constitution, including Section 71, property rights, Section 68, administrative justice, Section 51, dignity, Section 74, freedom from arbitrary eviction. The reason why people end up vachienda kunotenga minda kumasabhuku is because the land policy in Zimbabwe is dead. Personally, when I reach 18, I must be able to apply for a piece of land to the government. And within a reasonable time frame, the government of Zimbabwe must allocate me a piece of land in which I'm required. Maybe I will go and say, I need a commercial land. I need a communal land. These are two different things. You cannot compare commercial land and communal land. The government was supposed to have a policy where every person without land was going to find a piece of land through the communal lands policy, which would allow you to apply for a piece of land in your own area and you get it. That is the reason why all these processes have been overrun by Masabhuku Nema chiefs, because they've realized that vana vari kukura, vana nababa, before they die, they need to leave something for their kids. They need to leave a place for their own children. That is the reason why Masabhuku were giving people land. That is the reason why my chiefs were giving people land, because they understand our traditional rights. That we need a piece of land. For you to be a full father, you need a piece of land. Hatinga kure inini baba wangu vachibhonga hapo, inini chibhonga hapo, mfana wangu achibhonga hapo, mfana achibhonga hapo. Tese tichibhonga from the same compound. Inini ndane vazukuru, vana vangu vachibhonga in the same compound. Yasekuru vasekuru vavo. It won't make sense. It won't make sense. It shows that the people in the government of the Republic of Zimbabwe are senseless. Why? They do not know that these things need to be resolved. These people need to be given land. A wise government would have come and would have regularized these people they are calling illegal settlers. Because the same farms they own, they are owning those farms illegally. They chased out white farmers and they parceled those farms to themselves. But today they will come and tell you, you are illegally settling there. Why? It's because you don't have a 99-year lease which they give each other. Why? It's because you don't have a title deed which they give each other. They control the deeds office. They control every office. And they do whatever they want. Being on a point of privilege does not make you a lesser criminal. We have criminals within the government who are giving themselves and parceling themselves land each and every time. But nobody cares about that. That is the reason why land barons are thriving. It's because of a failed policy. So instead of George Charamba and his team to come and say, let us address the policy issue, they are coming to attack President Nelson Chamisa. So it's clear that whatever which is happening, the president is erroneously giving himself this land. This land must not be his land. There are other issues which must be done by relevant people in certain areas through a policy. If the president is to make declarations of who should own land and where, then we are doomed. These people they are removing. Vanda kuisa vanani. Muda kubvisa vanava. Moisa vanani koko. Who are more citizens than those who are there. So whatever the argument by Joe Charamba and these people, they have lost this argument. And President Nelson Chamisa is right. That is the reason why they don't want President Nelson Chamisa to be there, because they know for sure that if people get title to land, they will never be able to continue hold these people at ransom. They will never continue to abuse these people and use them at will. Because because unenge une ownership of that land. I agree with President Nelson Chamisa, and I believe that we have to take a stand and defend each other.